bit about how hard you had to work, especially given the expectations were always thrown in front of you?
For me, you know, my path was, you know, a little different. You're talking about work. I was gifted, but, you know, gifted people still have to work. And my dad, and more my mom, you know, was the one that was driving. Yeah. I'll tell you a story real quick. I was pitching, and I had walked a couple batters, and I had a lady from the other team just wearing me out. I'm 12 years old. That never happened. She is on me, and, you know, I'm looking at her, and I throw another ball, and my mom stands up, looks at me, and says, "Hit the next batter." I hit the next batter. And my mom stood up again, turned to the lady and said, "If you don't shut up, I'm gonna have him hit the next one." So we talk about that discipline and cause, that borderline between child abuse. Listen to your mama. Yeah. Go home and she cooks. I ain't messing with that. My dad, I couldn't hit in front of my dad. From the time I was 12 years old till I was 17, I didn't have a hit in front of him. Because he wasn't there, you know, he was, and I tried to have that, you know, I want that stamp of approval from your dad. Yes, I did that. And I couldn't do it. My high school coach pulled my dad aside and said, "Hey, look, you can't hit in front of you, just don't show up." So it was, you know, it was a learning curve, and we're in the instructional league. I've been drafted. He's in the RV in Peoria, behind left field. And I finally get my first hit. He slides the window open and says, "Was that so bad?" From that point on, I was good. My mom was the one who, you know, and I talk about it being, you know, having to play mom and dad, you know, with my dad being gone all the time, and you know, it was like, hey, this is what you do. Here's how you do it. I've watched enough baseball. You know, I get the stories of how my dad had to, you know, sleep on a park bench in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I had to wait for my mom to show up because they wouldn't rent him a hotel room or an apartment. I had to sleep in the top drawer of a dresser drawer for the first 4 years of my life. Well, the first year of my life. After that, I think I got too big for it. It's a big dresser. Yeah. But the things that my dad had to go through, he wanted to make sure that I knew that it's not easy getting here. If you work hard and do the things that you're supposed to, then you get rewarded. But you've got to bust your butt day in and day out. And I didn't understand that even at 17, 18, I'm like, I'm going to go out and play with my friends and do these things. He goes, "No, you've been drafted.
That's your reflection.
You have to work hard, and we can't do any of these things that these guys are doing." And now that I look at it, I'm 46 now. When I started at like 35, I really looked at him and go, he actually knew what he was talking about. Because dads, we're the last people to find out. My kids still talk to my wife, and then I got to hear it, and then I go to them, and I'm like, "Oh, you could have told me that." "Well, yeah, I didn't want to bother you." So I know, but he wasn't there a lot. With the Yankees, especially with the Yankees, he had an off day. He would, George would have the emergency, "Oh, you guys are not playing well, we're having a workout." You New York guys are just, y'all got a different, we're a little different. Right. Oh, a little different. In Seattle, we're like, "Off day, we'll be back." Him being 62nd round on the first pick, we have so much in common that, we're both born in Pennsylvania. Yeah. We both have dads who worked hard to be successful. And, you know, we got drafted. The hardest part about playing baseball is getting drafted. I just can't show up to a field and go, you know what, Coach, I think I want to bat third for your team. You got to get drafted. And once you do that, it's up to you. Because it's a lot of lonely nights in A-ball and AA and AAA. It's not as, McDonald's or Jack in the Box. Oh, I know. But, you know, and nobody helps you. You know, you're it. I mean, the hitting coach is trying to get to the big leagues. You know, he's like, you know, I'm going to help you out, but I need to get somewhere else. And you're trying to, you know, figure out things. And, you know, for me, it was a little easier because I can pick up the phone and call my dad and say, hey, you know, what am I doing? He'd say, okay, I'll have them send me a video, and he'd call me and say, hey, you're just pulling off a little bit. But you have to have people, you know, there's a lot of people behind this. It's just not, you know, one person, not a mom, a dad, it's a coach, a friend. It's one guy that you can relate to throughout your whole organization and your whole minor league system. Is one guy that goes, hey, this is it. This is what you do. And, you know, for me, it was my dad, and, you know, for you, you know, but it's a hard road, and, you know, people don't realize how hard it is. I mean, you know, they just sit there and think that, hey, it just comes easy. They see all this when, you know, it's over, and, you know, the lights during the, you know, the big league stadiums, but they don't see the minor league stadiums. And minor league fun baseball's gotten a little popular.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when I was in the minor leagues, it was funny. Like, we couldn't even take a shower at the ballpark. We didn't have hot water. Now they have baby changing rooms. Like, you know, minor league pilot, what happened? And I remember the story about Tommy. He always used to talk about minor league baseball. He used to come in when he was managing the minors, and the players would complain. He's like, you know, the food's good. He's like, or the food's terrible. He's like, great, I want it to be terrible. The food is great in the big leagues. He's like, well, water's cold. He goes, great, I told him to turn the hot water off. There was hot water in big league stadiums. Now it's like, you go to minor league park, it's like, they got, you know, tofu. I'm like, what happened?